Lock in, nephews. Tonight, it's not about comfort. It's about truth showing up uninvited. Because truth doesn't knock. It doesn't ask if you're ready. It just pops up in a text, in a memory, a silence, a realization you can't unsee. And here's the hard part. Most men never get taught. The truth is not here to punish you. It's here to position you. Look, nephews, some of you are hurting because the truth exposed her. Some of you are hurting because the truth exposed you. And some of you are hurting because the truth exposed the lie you were living to stay comfortable. So let's be clear tonight. Real men, we don't run from truth. We stand on it. Even when it costs us access, nostalgia, hope, or even our ego. Because every time you ignore truth, you rent peace. And every time you face it, nephews, you build it. So tonight, we're not asking, how do I feel about this? We're asking, what does the truth require of me now? Because growth doesn't come from knowing the truth. It comes from acting in alignment with it. If the truth popped up in your life recently, a breakup, a boundary, a betrayal, a realization you've been avoiding, you're not here by accident. Pull up your chair, lock in. This is where boys get uncomfortable and men get free. Ask Your Favorite Uncle starts now. Johnny, go ahead and introduce yourself for everybody.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I am Johnny Dumbbell. I'm a personal trainer and life coach out here in beautiful Pittsburgh, PA, where after the events of last night, the Steelers are done for the year. So as far as I'm concerned, it is hockey season. Pens are down 1 goal against the Lightning at home tonight. That's all right. They still got time to turn things around. Anyway, the point is, big news. Things have been happening around here. Mike Tomlin is no longer the head coach of the Steelers. By the way, whether you're a Steelers Browns fan, let us know in the comments, should they have gotten rid of Mike Tomlin? I'll be glad to discuss that offline with you later. But I'm not here to talk about my success nor the Steelers' failures. I'm here to talk about my failures because that's what I learned most from. Learned the most from. Got to enunciate. Like I said, most people don't learn nearly as much from their victories as they do from their defeats. In short, Uncle Bill here and I, we are the uncles the whole family talks about. But believe me when I tell you, not only is there a punchline and a funny undertone to the stories of our screw-ups, there's a moral to those stories too. Stick around and you'll see what I mean.
All right, Johnny, let's get into it tonight. Nephews, we got our lines open. You can call in with questions of your own. We do have some questions that that have been written into the show. Uncle Johnny's email and everything is in the bio. If you got questions, go ahead and shoot them to him. We might put them on the show, or if not, we're at least going to get back to you with an answer.
Definitely. Avi, thanks for joining us, man. Good to see you. All right, so tonight we've got 3 questions from 3 young men desperate for knowledge and desperate for understanding. And possibly desperate for some serious advice on how they should move forward, because this is not going to be an easy road for them. So without further ado, because ado takes way the hell too long, we've got Steve. Now, Steve says, how do I come to terms with the fact that my ex hates me? You know this is going to be great. I hope this makes it onto your show because I need a miracle. I ran into my ex a month after the breakup. It was amicable, but after I chased, she left for her mental health reasons and tried to talk to her. I'm going to go ahead and say that might not be as amicable as you think it was. She told me she hates me for what I put her through, that she no longer cares about me, that I could go and no longer live for all she cared, and that she was better off without me and didn't miss me one bit. She told me to never try to talk to her again, and that I am so needy and desperate that it actually hurts her, annoys her, frustrates her, and it's like she has an eager little puppy following her around, and she told me to go annoy someone else. That she doesn't love me anymore, doesn't want me or us, and to stay out of her life once and for all. Felt like a stab wound to my heart that she could speak to me like that. Any advice? Yeah, Steve, I think it's going really well, man. I think it's going great. Buy that ring. No,
All
I mean,
right.
yeah, I mean, listen, okay, so here's the thing. Is there a chance she's just saying this because she wants you to be able to avoid the train wreck that she feels she is, and she's doing this just to save you from a future of heartbreak and angst? Or could the best advice be to, geez, I don't know, listen to what she says? Because if she is capping and you step away, you're going to hear from her again. At which point, I would hope you hit ignore. If she's not capping, I'm going to go ahead and say the understatement of the hour would be that this is not working out for you, buddy. So she got away from you for her mental health reasons. Bill, I got to tell you, man, that to me sounds like she got away from him because he's driving her absolutely fucking crazy. What do you think?
Bruh.
Nephew, let me just make sure I got this straight. You're asking your favorite uncles here, how do I come to terms with the fact that my ex hates me? Steve, listen closely.
And
what
closely.
You experienced wasn't truth. It was emotional discharge. When someone says, I hate you, you're pathetic, go die, what they're
it was
really
an ejaculation
saying
of
is,
anger.
I need to dehumanize you so I don't feel guilt, confusion, or attachment. Now, here's a hard truth for you, nephew, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. She doesn't hate you. She hates how you made her feel about herself when you chased her. And look, I understand, nephew, chasing doesn't make you evil, but it does give the other person power, and power turns cruel when unchecked. So the eager puppy line, that wasn't feedback, sir. That was contempt. And contempt is the relationship killer.
Now, she said you seemed like her correctional officer, her PO, then that would at least mean, okay, he's coming down too hard. He's trying to be too strict. He's scaring me. No, she's telling you, not only is she not scared of you, which I'm glad she's not, but that you are like a little puppy. She has likened you to one of the weakest, softest, cutest little things, and I don't mean cute in a good way, that she can think of. That not only means that she's done with you emotionally, and physically, and sexually, and biologically, like she, honest to God, has absolutely zero respect for you as a human being, let alone a partner in her life, past or present. And believe me, don't worry about future.
All right, nephew, here's the part that hurts, but if you just rock with me to the end, I promise this is going to set you free. All right. I need you to understand that her words do not define your worth. They define her capacity for empathy under pressure. A woman who could talk to someone she once loved like that is not someone you... Okay, I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, because why she did what she did doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what you do next. And that's one of the things that we want to do here. We want to give you the game on how you should be moving forward and how you should be conducting yourself as a man. So what you need to do next is stop trying to be understood by somebody committed to misunderstanding you. And
well, and never mind that. When somebody tells you to go away, this is not a rom-com. The guy who perseveres despite her rebuffing him constantly in every single scene of the movie, that's cute for a Hallmark Christmas movie. In real life, it's called getting slapped with a restraining order.
Okay, nephew, I need you to accept that her anger is the door slamming shut, not an invitation to knock harder. And what you should do next is go silent, not to punish her, but to rebuild your spine. Steve, the lesson here isn't I'm unlovable. The lesson is never chase clarity from someone who already chose distance. Silence, sir, is how you regain dignity. And dignity, nephew, that's how you heal.
Yeah, my final thought on this one, yeah. My final thought on this one is let's say it's best case scenario as far as you're concerned. Let's say she's doing this to test you and see if your love is steadfast. You should still get the hell away from her, even if that's the case. Don't go passing this test if that's what it is. It's not, but let's say it was. The fact of the matter is that if this were a test and if this were her trying to see, she's not trying to see how loyal and steadfast your love is. She's trying to see how far you'll chase her and how much disrespect she could get away with and have you still be at her beck and call. Now, again, probably not what's happening here, but even if it were, that would be all the more reason to avoid this person, because now, not only is now it's not that she loathes you. Now it's not that she can't stand the sight of you. Now it's not the fact that your voice makes her want to vomit. It's that she is trying to make sure that you are under that thumb of hers at all times. And again, I can't stress this enough. As far as you're concerned, that's best case scenario. But I'm going to give you an even better case scenario. You chalk this up as a loss. You figure out where you could have been a little bit better as a man. Stop saying, well, if she would have, or she wouldn't have, or I wish she would, or I wish she wouldn't. Who the hell cares? Doesn't matter what you wish she would or wouldn't do. She doesn't give a shit about making you happy at this point, nor should she at this stage. And more to the point, you shouldn't be trying to make somebody happy or somebody fall for you who clearly wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire. Here's the thing you need to do. Move forward. Wake up tomorrow morning and make your bed. And set a date for no more than 7 days in the future to begin your first day of the Johnny Dumbbell Challenge. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Johnny, you mentioned about women wanting to be chased. And like you and I absolutely
I really
know
don't think that's what's happening, but yeah.
We know that's not the situation here, but maybe we should speak on this a little bit and give our nephews a little bit of game on this.
Yeah.
Because women, they don't want to be chased. They don't want to be chased because they're evil, broken, manipulative by default. They want to be chased, nephew, because chasing validates desirability. And desirability equals safety plus worth in the emotional nervous system. That's it. Strip the poetry away. That's it. All right. The deeper psychology, and this is where a lot of men miss it. Chasing confirms value. When you are pursuing a woman, it signals to her that she's being chosen. It reassures to her that she matters, and it calms the whole "I don't want to be abandoned" thing. And for many women, especially those with insecurities or past wounds, being pursued, it regulates anxiety. So when the chase stops, fear spikes. Not because she lost you, but because she lost proof of her impact. So please just remember that going forward, nephews. The chase activates emotion, but not connection. Chasing
and the thing of it is that,
go ahead, Johnny.
The thing of it is that no matter what the end result is, the fact of the matter is that now has defined her as the one in charge of this relationship and you as the pleaser at all turns. Not only are you willing to please her when you are together, hell, you're willing to please her when she's trying to run from you. And if that's the kind of thing she's looking to do here, and again, I'll say it again, I don't think that's what's happening. But if it were, you would be falling right into her trap. You would be eating out of the palm of her hand. And that is not the way to live, man. Really isn't.
No.
So yeah, you got to, what I think is happening right now is you've got all your eggs in one basket. You are so head over heels for this girl that you are thinking about her when you wake up in the morning, you're thinking about her when you take your lunch break, and you're thinking about her before you go to sleep. Hell, you might be thinking about her while you're watching the Pens game and not realizing that we're about to be on a 3-game losing streak because you're too busy thinking about this girl who doesn't want you, but you for some reason think you need to run faster to chase.
Okay, well, I want you nephews to understand while we're speaking on this. Chasing women lets her stay passive. When a man chases, the woman doesn't have to risk rejection. She doesn't have to be vulnerable, and she doesn't have to even choose clearly. The man does all the emotional labor, and she gets to evaluate. And it is not what we teach you here, because the dynamic shift is so powerful. Again, Johnny, I'm getting ahead of myself again tonight.
I don't think so. I think this is a good game, man. Not only is that a profound change, but it's an irreversible one in 99 cases out of 100.
Thank you. That's really where I wanted to go with that.
Yep.
But to further back up my point, certain women with trauma in their life that amplifies these type of wounds. Women with abandonment issues, very chaotic past, or what I or you might consider inconsistent love histories often crave the chase more intensely. Why? And that's because calm feels unfamiliar, consistency feels boring, and silence feels threatening. So they unconsciously provoke pursuit, pull away, get chased, feel reassured, repeat. And that's not love, nephew. That's nervous system addiction. Now, here's the part I need you guys to hear. Healthy women don't want to be chased. They want to be chosen mutually. They want effort, not pursuit. They want presence, not pressure. Nephew, they want desire, not desperation.
And that is that they want to desire your presence. They don't want to loathe it.
Well, it flips the polarity. It turns masculine direction into feminine seeking. And once that happens, I can assure you, nephews, attraction starts to erode, even if attachment remains. That's why she can say, "You're amazing, but I don't feel it anymore." She feels safe. She doesn't feel drawn. Now, please burn this into your brain.
And burn any letters you were thinking of sending to her.
Pursuit is attractive. Chasing is repulsive.
Yeah.
Pursuit says, "I'm interested." Chasing says, "I need you." Yep. Women don't fall out of love because men stop chasing. They fall out of attraction because men don't know when to stop.
Sure.
So if a woman only feels connected when you're chasing her, she's not really connected to you. She's connected to how you make her feel about herself. And that's not a relationship, nephews. That's a transaction. So just stand still, let her meet you halfway. And if she doesn't, you didn't lose her. You avoided losing yourself.
Yeah. So, I mean, in the chat, or if you happen to see this, in the chat tonight, or if you happen to see this after the fact when it's already uploaded, in the comments, tell us about a time where either you were the chaser or the chasee, whether you were the one that was rebuffed or whether it really put you off. We'd like to hear the story, and maybe this can give this young man a little bit of insight as to what he's doing wrong and why it's as wrong as it is. Now, he needs a little bit of advice as far as chasing, and our next writer, Julian, he needs the same pretty much advice. I'm going to show you pretty much in a nutshell. This is whiskey. I don't even chase that. Speaking of which, what I am sipping on tonight, this is Four Roses whiskey. They're great. It's probably the best mid-range whiskey you can buy. Right now, I'm drinking, and, well, they're not paying me for it yet. But hopefully soon. Anyhow, so we got Julian. And Julian, I mean, she doesn't hate Julian, but he's kind of in the same boat. So,
bro, nephew, how are you in the same boat? I'm gonna need you guys to start calling in with some of these questions because I have follow-up questions. Now, I don't mean to jump the gun. Johnny, go ahead and let's hear them out. I'm also gonna put up the call-in number. Please call up, nephews.
Now, Julian has an interesting subject line. He says, "Did I mess up?" Now, young men, middle-aged men, men older than us, most of us should know by now that if you're asking that question, you either know that the answer is yes, or there is at least something you could have done better or left undone. But he tells us he's 32, she's 30. And by the way, guys, when you write in, not that it is really of the utmost importance, but I do think it's kind of helpful, at least to a certain degree, if you let us know how old you are. I don't care about the age difference with her. I don't give a crap about that. But, you know, if you can give us your age and the age of the person you're referring to, I think it does give us a little tiny bit better context, just a little bit better information, just small details that are kind of nice to have. Anyway.
And here's why, because it's indicative to your experience level, and we as teachers want to meet you at the level you're at.
Also, then we know whether to call you nephew or cousin.
Bruh. Hey, I even called a big brother's nephew.
But he says, by the way, I've been having this cough for the last few days, so please bear with me. I'm sorry if I'm coughing in your ear, folks. He says, we've been together for almost a year. It's a healthy and good relationship. Right. But she has some emotional baggage from a past relationship and a wonderful daughter. She has struggled with mental and physical abuse as well as some addiction issues. Boy, this girl's batting 1,000 so far, buddy. Yeah, definitely chase her down. When we met, she was a year into sobriety and regularly went to her psychologist. I think he means psychiatrist here, but I could be wrong. She still had some issues, but we managed them together. We're not living together, but we talk every day and stay at each other's place all the time. After some miscommunication at New Year's Eve, and for context, I was working and thought we were going to meet up, but she ended up going out with a friend instead. Don't worry, she just forgot. A long week for her and with family visits and a lot of stuff happening. She texted that she was too tired to meet up and needed space over the weekend to pull herself together and prepare for a psychologist appointment that she was a bit anxious about. Here's where, now, Julian, this next part, because I did pre-read this next part is where we're going to have to kick your ass. All right. He says, I tried to respect what she wanted, or that she wanted time. And I know Johnny and William are going to slap me for this. We are. But I was a bit stuck in my own emotions and ended up calling and Snapchatting, which is our preferred communication channels, maybe a bit much. If she went no contact once is too much, by the way. She went no contact the last days and told me we can talk when she's done with the appointment. Today, I got this text message. And it goes in, and I quote, I have been talking with my psychologist and figured out the way ahead for me. Call you later when my head is in the right space, end quote. I'm afraid I have pushed her away by not respecting her wish to be alone, and that she has concluded with the psychologist that it's best for her not to be with me now. Any advice do you think that, I think he's asking if he's in the ballpark there. Bill, take first crack at this one, man.
Julian, you did mess up, but not in the way you think. You didn't mess up by caring. You messed up by trying to manage this woman's emotional process for her. Here's the brutal truth men need to learn early. When a woman asks for space, any extra contact feels like pressure to her, no matter how loving or well your intentions are. Calling, Snapchatting, checking in, that doesn't say I care. It says I'm anxious and I need relief now. And that shifts you unfairly into the role of emotional weight. Now, listen carefully because this part matters. Her going no contact doesn't mean she decided you're the problem. It means she needed to quit to hear herself think. Your messages, she sees them. And you know what? That wasn't really rejection. I figured out the way ahead of me. I'll call you later when my head is in the right place. That's not a breakup text. That sounds more like a boundary test. And here's your move, and you do not deviate from this.
Well, I might agree with that, except for one thing. This all came about right after she stood him up for New Year's Eve. This all came about after he thought he was going to be spending New Year's Eve with a woman he loved and found out that she would rather spend time with her friends, and let's face it, probably at a party. Now, she goes to this party, she has a great time New Year's Eve, and he doesn't hear from her much for the next week. Here's what most likely happened. She was already done with you before New Year's Eve was even close. She was done with you by Thanksgiving. And the fact of the matter is that she goes out with her friends, has fun on New Year's Eve, and now she's contacting you even less than she already was. And you're curious about what's wrong, what's happening, what could have been, what could be the problem. Well, the fact of the matter is that I'm not saying she isn't really seeing her psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever. I'm not saying that she isn't really having mental health issues. But what I am saying is that those issues are most likely not why she's leaving you. She tells you time or space, gentlemen. What she really means is, I need to be away from you. Now, maybe that's permanent, maybe that's temporary, but you know what? For you, you should just go ahead and assume that it's permanent. And here's what I would tell you to do. If she's asking for time, if she's asking for space, I would give her so much time and space that when and if she ever does contact you, you give it 24 hours before you even respond. She wanted the time, she wanted the space, you give it to her. And in the meantime, you should be taking that time, as well as any other time in your life, to be working on yourself day by day. To accepting the Johnny Dumbbell Challenge if you're not already working out. Making your bed when you wake up in the morning. Doing things for you that make you and your day and ultimately your life better. Because sitting around waiting for her to come around is not going to do it, even if she does. But I'm going to tell you right now, given the time and space, in 9 times out of 10, that time and space is pretty much the time and space at the very end of the relationship, whether you're aware of it or not. So I'm not saying this girl went out and cheated on you, but what I am saying is she maybe even just went out and had a great time with her friends and realized how much more fun it would be if she wasn't tied to you. Is that an indictment on you or your character? No, I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is it is an indictment on your relationship to this girl. Why? Because she used the magic words. She didn't just use one of them. If she uses even one of them, you're fucked. But she used both of them, time and space. There's nothing beyond that you need to know other than this girl just needs to be away from me. And frankly, you should probably spend some time away from her. You are suffering from an addiction right now. You are suffering from the dopamine hit that you get. Some people get dopamine hits just from likes and views on their YouTube pages, which, by the way, I do. At Johnny Dumbbell on YouTube, also Johnny Dumbbell Fitness. I post as often as I can. Make sure you like and subscribe. But I mean, come on, I got to advertise, you know. But I digress. The thing of it is that you're doing things that you think are conducive to your relationship. Number one, they're counterproductive anyway. But number two, you're focusing your energy in the wrong direction and on the wrong things. And more to the point, you're failing to direct your energy on the right things. And that is you and being better than you were the day before. Well, how do you know how good you were the day before? Well, who knows? You don't know yourself yet, it sounds like. It sounds like right now you're identifying and you're looking at your own self-worth as to whether or not this girl actually wants to respond to you or be with you. And the fact of the matter is that the reason that this girl doesn't respect you is because deep down, whether you're aware of it or not, you don't respect yourself. You don't have enough love for yourself to realize that if this girl needs time and space, it means she wants to be away from you, and all you can feel is the pain and the loss. No, this should be an opportunity for you. And I don't just mean to go out there and find some strange, although, hey, if that makes you feel better, great. But what it should be an opportunity for you to do mostly is to realize that now you're in control of your own destiny, as you've always been. But you know why most guys don't figure that out until they break up or until they get served or they get divorced or whatever it happens to be? The reason they don't figure that out until those times is because they haven't realized that their own life is about them. They need to be alone to not only have permission to make their lives better, but I'll tell you what, guys, being alone in times of mental or spiritual growth is what's going to really make that spiritual growth happen for real, because now you don't have somebody in your ear telling you whether or not you're going about it the right way. Now, doing it on your own, being alone while you have this kind of growth, it's going to be a lot of trial and error. It's going to be a lot of learning. And if you're willing to go to those dark places in your mind, it's going to mean facing some things about yourself you might just not want to face, because those are things about yourself you don't like. I'm not saying embrace them and keep doing them either, because you shouldn't. Those are bad habits. Those are bad traits. And if you've decided that those are not good traits for you to have, then it's time for you to make a change and do something about it. But if you got somebody else whispering in your ear, even if they mean well, at that point, you're doing it mostly for yourself at best, but a little bit for somebody else. Take some time. Disappear for a week if you need to. But make sure that the only person you're giving and taking advice from is yourself. That is going to be the second step. The second step to becoming the best version of yourself. The first step is admitting that you need to. Now, let's go.
Well said, Johnny. All right, nephew, I need you to understand something. And this goes for most women, if not all of them. Why any single woman does what she does not matter. Let me break that down a little more. The why behind her actions does not matter.
And that right there is all you need to know about bitches.
Now, we appreciate you writing in.
Yeah.
So, one thing that I want to do is give you the game on how to move forward. We want to give you real solutions to your problems. And nephews, that goes for all of you watching. Call in, ask your favorite uncles. We're here for you.
Yep.
So, what I'd like you to do, Julian, going forward, it's easy. You do nothing. You don't text. You don't prepare some speech. You certainly do not apologize again.
Mm-mm.
If she calls you, you can listen more than you talk. If she doesn't call you, you need to accept that truth with grace and not panic. Okay, Julian, real
Actually,
attraction doesn't come from proving you're safe. It comes from showing you can stand steady when things wobble. It comes from structure. And like Uncle Johnny said, it comes from knowing yourself. Right now, sir, your discipline is what matters, not reassurance.
Yep. And Julian, I've got a specific challenge for you because I know you're going to be tempted to text her, call her, whatever it is. So when you are, here's what I want you to do. Go ahead and type out the text message you want to send her. But instead of sending it to her, email it or text it to yourself. And I want you to wait after you do that. 3, 4, 6, 12 hours, whatever it happens to be. And I want you to read it again later from as objective a standpoint as you can. And I want you to ask yourself, are these the words of somebody who is offering or somebody who is begging? You don't beg. You make the offers. And when and if she does contact you, I got another challenge for you. Ignore the call, ignore the text. Make her have to call you or text you a second time. Why? You weren't the one that asked for time and space. And she could have just made that one phone call or sent that one text message in a moment of weakness. Twice in a row is not an accident. Twice in a row is not an impulse. That's a choice. And I would still recommend at this point, because there has already been a loss of respect between you and her, that it's still better to go your separate ways. I don't even know that I would respond after the second call or message. I would just say that, yeah, I would just say that even if she does do that, not even that she necessarily has an ulterior motive. This isn't about her at all. This is about you. This is about you needing to find somebody who craves your presence rather than gets anxiety from it.
Well said, Johnny. And I agree with you there. I think he needs to be going out and meeting other women and forgetting all about this woman who doesn't want him. Now, he may have to put some work and effort into himself, but with our help, he can become a better version of himself tomorrow than he was today.
Yep.
So there is absolutely is hope out there for you, nephew.
Oh, dude.
Stay locked in, keep writing, update us with your progress.
Yep.
Call in if you need to. We would love to have a little chat with you.
Yeah, and by the way, Julian, Steve, and our next writer, Alfie, I'm going to let you guys know, just for writing in and getting your question read on the show, I'm sending each of you the first 4 weeks of not only the Johnny Dumbbell Challenge, I'm going to send you the actual specific workouts, and I'm even going to schedule them throughout the week. I'll put in the days. You decide the time. But you need to wake up every day and realize that that is one day closer to being who you want to be. But you guys each get 4 weeks of the program free. So thank you for writing in. Love you guys. Appreciate you.
Very generous of you, sir.
Hey, everybody needs it. Like I say, text yourself, email yourself, or write it into a notebook. If you're an old fart like me and you prefer to handwrite, hey, write it in a notebook. But read it 12 to maybe even 24 hours later and see if you still want to send that. I'll bet you'll be surprised at what you find. You probably won't. All right. Bill, anything else on this one?
No, I don't, Johnny, I don't want to beat him up too much.
No, I mean, like I say, I'm glad he wrote in.
Me too.
All right, so we got question 3. This is Alfie. And Alfie says, 3 years together, and I found the truth on her Apple Watch. Oh, boy. Now, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. He says, found the truth on her Apple Watch after she broke up with me. I am supposed... And for some freaking reason, he says, I'm supposed to see her tomorrow, which I would assume would have been last Thursday.
What?
I know. While we were doing our show, this guy was supposed to be seeing her. Anyway, first of all, let me reprimand you for not tuning in live, because if you'd have done that, you'd have realized that was a bad move. Anyway. Here's his email. First, he does say, let me say that Uncle William's ink is dope as fuck. I live near Cleveland, but I'm willing to travel if you would kindly tell me where you get it done.
I got you, nephew. Hey, shout out to the homie, Dominic Rossi. I can get you his number. I'll have Johnny get that to you.
Yeah, I'll email. I'll actually respond. Bill, if you don't mind sending me that offline later. So he says, I'm 26 and my now ex is 24. We were together for 3 years. It was a real relationship, not perfect, but loving, stable, and committed. During the last few months, I've been dealing with a parent being in the hospital, which has been one of the hardest periods of my life. And look, I get that, man. My dad just survived cancer. I understand how that goes. She knew this and at least outwardly seemed supportive. She went on a family trip over the holidays to New Year's Eve. Right before she left, everything between us felt great. She was affectionate, loving, and reassuring. Now, I got to ask, was it more so than usual before she goes and parties without you? That's something you might want to think about. Anyway, keep that in the back of your mind while I'm reading this. I had no reason to think anything was wrong. But as soon as she came back, something shifted almost immediately. Almost. She became distant, shorter replies, less warmth, less emotion. Eventually, she broke up with me over the phone. She said she needed space. Oh, no. Oh, she needed space. There's a dreaded word right there, guys. So I needed space and could not continue the relationship. The breakup was emotional, but calm. The next morning, she sent me a long, very kind message about how amazing I am and how much I meant to her and how grateful she was for me. It was confusing because it sounded so loving. Yeah, except for the part where she's saying, yeah, we're still not going to be together.
And that right there.
I'm sorry, I can't even do it again.
I was about to pantomime that whole thing. Anyway, I still had her Apple Watch, and it was I was just genuinely going to charge it to be nice before returning it.
Not the cap.
When I did, messages started popping up. Isn't it crazy how when people see messages on somebody else's phone or Apple Watch, it was just accidental and they were totally doing something else, right? Anyway, when I did, messages started popping up. Curiosity got the best of me, and of course, I looked. Of course you did. What I saw completely took me off guard. First of all, it's caught me off guard, but we'll work on the grammar later. There were text messages between her and a guy she had met during her trip with her family. You don't say. You mean she acted extra loving before and extra distant after, and something happened in between? Anyway, the messages were not innocent. Things like, I can't wait to visit you in New York. Or, you're not mad that I invited myself, right? Or, I wish I stayed the whole night, but my family was happy to see me in the morning, and plus so much more. I have photos of all the texts off her watch. So now we're taking screenshots. Suddenly, everything made sense. The distance she showed before the breakup itself, even the loving behavior before and after the trip, or at least he's being observant in retrospect. What hurts the most is that this happened while I was dealing with a parent being in the hospital. I'm sorry to hear that, by the way, during one of the most vulnerable times of my life. And she could still be loving to my face while planning trips and mornings with someone else. I'm supposed to see her tomorrow so she can pick up her things. I haven't confronted her yet. I really wish you guys would write me a little bit more in advance on these things. Really, seriously. Come on, man. Don't be doing shit until you actually hear our response. All you guys, if you're going to write in, I'll email you. If it makes you feel better, I'll respond to the email to let you know we're going to read it on air. Okay? But if that's the case, for the love of God, don't do anything until we do that. Anyway, I'm supposed to see her tomorrow so she can pick up her things. I haven't confronted her yet, and I'm not sure how or if I should. I don't want drama. I just want to walk away with self-respect. Buddy, that ship sailed. Right now in the moment, I want to blow it up in her face, but know that that's not the wisest thing to do. Yeah, what are you going to do? Dump her? I'm just writing this so I could sleep on it, listen to what you guys have to say. Might give it a couple of days now and let my emotions calm down, but I need my uncles to tell me what my next steps should be. Listen.
You want to go? You want me to go? You want to tell him? You want me to tell him?
I want you to take this one, but I just think that, honestly, Alfie, you probably already know what we think.
All right, Johnny. Let me do the heavy lifting here. Alfie, this one, it cuts deep, and I'm going to be very clear with you because this moment is going to shape who you are going to become. All right, what you discovered wasn't just betrayal. Nephew, it was confirmation. She emotionally checked out before the breakup. She lined up safety before telling you the truth. And she did it while you were carrying a hospitalized parent. Now, that part matters. Now, hear this clearly, nephew. You don't need confrontation to reclaim power. You need containment. Blowing up, it's not going to give you peace. It'll just give her justification. All right, here's how men walk away, and we do it clean. You don't reveal what you saw. You don't argue timelines, and you do not seek an apology that won't even be real. Tomorrow, your goal isn't closure. Tomorrow, nephew, your goal is composure. You hand her her things, you stay calm, you keep it brief, and you stay respectful. And let me tell you why. Because silence forces her to sit with what she did. Well, drama, nephew, that's going to give her an escape hatch. The truth already popped up for you. You don't need her to confirm it. Alfie, nephew, self-respect isn't yelling your pain. It's choosing not to explain yourself to someone who already chose differently. Walk away clean, nephew. That's how men win without revenge.
And I mean, in chronological order, let's just go down the red flags that we missed here. Because again, we as men are taught to run away from red flags, even though a lot of us kind of buy into what the mass media teaches us and run toward them. Okay. But in this case, so you're saying that you were together for 3 years. Now that is enough time for some people to get bored in a relationship anyway, even if nothing was wrong. But what you're kind of telling us is kind of telling, because first of all, let me again express my sympathies, and I hope everything's going good with your parent. You didn't say which one, but I mean, it doesn't matter. It's a very stressful, very kind of scary, sad time in your life. And look, I mean, I feel for you there. Knowing that, okay, if she had been with you 3 weeks, 3 months, that's one thing. But 3 years, and she's not worried about your state of mind or how things are going with your parent in the hospital, I'm not saying she should have canceled her New Year's Eve trip. What I'm saying is, if you were having that much trouble getting a response from her, when what she should have been doing was texting you saying, hey, how's everything going? Is everything okay with mom or dad? Or, I mean, how are you? How's your mental state? We've been together 3 years. So if I gave a crap about you, I would ask these things because I would want to know. Okay. She doesn't want to know how you're doing. I'm not saying that she's heartless and doesn't care about you or your parent, because I don't know what dynamic of your relationship was. I don't know how clingy you've been. I don't know how overbearing you've been or haven't been, But the fact of the matter is that she's not concerned with your current state of mind. She's concerned with going to see her family, which is great. Understandable. You're visiting your parent in the hospital. She's visiting her parents, who, thankfully for her, as far as I can tell, are not. So I understand the whole sentimentality of you spending time with your family member, her spending time with her family members. What I have a problem with was that she went and spent an evening and a night with some guy that she probably hasn't known even as long as she's known you, let alone her family. And again, she was super affectionate. She was super loving on her way out the door. When she came back in the door, again, wouldn't have pissed on you if you were on fire. I want you to think about that, because there's no way that kind of a shift happens for no reason.
Well, John.
Now, I'm not saying it was your fault. I'm not also saying it was not your fault. What I'm saying is that in that time, something happened, either here and or there. Okay. It might not have been all three, but it was probably all three. The point is, this is a girl who has decided that she is mentally and emotionally checked out, not because she went and screwed around on New Year's Eve. I mean, I don't care if they ran a train on her right before midnight. That's not what did it. What should have done it for you was the fact that she was not concerned with how you were handling the situation you were dealing with a family issue after a 3-year relationship, or I should say during or towards the end, in this case, of a 3-year relationship. So that should have been clue number one. She comes back, everything's shifted. She's distant, shorter replies, less warmth. Well, yeah, you're cutting into her time talking to this dude. You're interrupting her conversations with the guy she's attracted to. And if you haven't figured it out yet, that guy's not you. Now, she broke up with you over the phone. So not only was she not worried about your mental state, not only was she not worried about how you were handling things, she didn't care enough about you to tell you face to face that this was over. Now, that could have been a lack of care and a lack of respect, or it could have been a little bit of concern for her because you're so busy pushing, chasing, that she thought, well, maybe it's better that I do this over the phone. That way, if things get too crazy, I can just hit the red button. Emotional breakup, but calm. All right. What you're basically telling me is that neither of you screamed. Cool. Screaming's bad in that situation, so I'm glad to see that. But she waits another day and sends you this long, sappy message about how you were great and this and that. Now, I'm not saying she's lying about that, because, maybe she is, maybe she isn't. But the fact of the matter is that this was intended to soften the blow for you and the guilt for her. Okay. This was a way of ending a 3-year relationship in a way that made you feel, well, she thinks would make you feel better and would make her feel a little less bad for what probably happened that you don't know about. You talked in person after the breakup, so she didn't want to break up with you in person, but she was cool talking to you in person afterwards. Did you talk in person after the breakup, or did you go to where she works? You didn't put that in there, so I'm curious. She wanted to stay friends. Now, here's the telling part. She wants to stay friends. So she had you in her life for 3 years. She's basically leaving you for this other guy. You know why she wants you to stay friends, Bill? You know why she wants to stay friends, don't you?
Bruh.
This whole thing is new for her. This new guy is new for her, and he might not work out. She's going to need that emotional backup. And guess what, buddy? As much as you chase her and all the feelings you pour out for her, she knows that guy is you. She knows that you'll still be there if this shit doesn't work out, and you'll actually walk away thinking you won. You're her second choice at best. The good news is at least you're not thrilled about being friends with her. Anyway, you were hesitant, but you agreed that you could try because somebody probably told you that it was better to have her in your life as a friend than not at all. I'm going to go ahead and bust that myth right now. If that were true, you'd be able to watch her French kiss this guy in front of you and feel nothing. If you can't feel nothing when you see that, guess what? You can't be friends with her. So you plan for her to come pick up your things. Now, here's the thing you need to understand. She's there to pick up her things. You think she's there to talk to you and get closure. She's not. If she already had all of her shit, you probably wouldn't even be hearing from her. All right. You still have her Apple Watch, and you were genuinely just going to charge it. Now, here's the part we need to talk about self-control. You were just going to charge it, and you just so happened to see a message that made you probe deeper. Alfie, as a personal trainer and as a man, let me just tell you, don't piss on my cross trainers and try to tell me it's a rainstorm. It's okay to admit that you snooped. It's not okay to snoop, but your first step to being the real man and a better version of yourself is admitting that you snooped out of curiosity that you simply couldn't control. You were not better than your emotions, and you were less than your circumstances in that moment. Now, I'm sure you found some juicy stuff in there, probably some shit you wish you never read. But the thing of it is that if you had the masculine self-control, if you had that wherewithal, you wouldn't have needed to look at that watch. She already told you everything she needed to know when she went away for New Year's Eve and came back a cold-hearted ex. So you should have known without reading those messages, not necessarily what happened, but what is no longer happening, and that is the two of you being in a relationship. As Bill says every single time, and I agree with him, the why doesn't matter, and the what she did while she was away doesn't matter. It's about how she treats you, about how she was with you when you were together. She has shown you a lack of care, a lack of respect, and frankly, a lack of even wanting to be around you in your presence unless it's to pick up some probably expensive things, because you mentioned you have them in the Apple Watch alone, that she needs to come get. There's a chance she might have just been being nice to you so that she doesn't have to worry about you throwing her crap in the dumpster. But anyway, you decided not only to see that there were messages between her and some guy, but you decided to read them. You are a glutton for punishment, my friend. You decided that not only were you going to figure out not only that your relationship's over, but how your relationship's over, why your relationship's over, and what she plans to do once your relationship's over. Or, what she's already done once she decided the relationship was over, which, again, I got to tell you, it's probably been for longer than you think. And now you tell us suddenly everything made sense. Now, you're young. You said you're 26, dude. When I was 26, I was probably even more clueless than you were. But the mistake you're making is you're saying that what hurts the most is that this all happened while you were dealing with a parent in the hospital. Now, that does suck. But I think what really hurts the most is the fact that you still haven't dealt with the fact that your ego won't let you believe that there is somebody she wants more. There's somebody she'd rather be with than you. You would rather think she's just a bad person who doesn't know what she's doing. She knows what she's doing. She probably doesn't like herself for it, but she knows what she's doing. And you are trying to justify your own self-worth to yourself as you look in the mirror and say that, how did you word it? That she just needed time and space to handle things and figure things out. No. How could she still be loving to your face while planning trips to somebody else? Simple. Throw you out the scent. She needed to be able to play both of you until she figured out whether or not this guy was going to be a solid addition to her life. Because if he was just going to be some hump and dump, then she could have just left it at that, never told you a thing, and came back to, Farmer Alfie for a little stability. Until she found somebody else that biologically got her panties, made her want to wring her panties out. The fact of the matter is that right now in the moment, you want to blow it up in her face and accuse her. My friend, number one, it's too late. And number two, even if it weren't, what good's that going to do? You already know what happened. You already know the facts. Who gives a shit about confronting her? You're just not the guy now. All right? Within the next couple of weeks, the Steelers are going to hire a new head coach. It's not going to matter what Mike Tomlin does in the next couple of years. Well, guess what? Now we're talking about something even deeper. We're talking about emotions. We're talking about boyfriend-girlfriend crap. Nobody's going to be worried about what she's doing in the next couple of weeks. If anybody is a fan of our show, they are rooting for us to be successful and hopefully get 1,000 subscribers really soon. And they're hopefully rooting for you to move on, move up, accept the Johnny Dumbbell Challenge. By the way, check your email inbox. I expect you to start no later than next Monday. And let's make those steps to improving yourself. And for the love of God, at least get to the point where you like yourself. Like yourself, respect yourself, and move forward with a woman who will do the same for you. Simple. Now, I know I got long-winded on that one. Uncle Bill, let him have it.
No, it's great, Johnny. The nephews will get a chance to go back and listen to this, and I think Alfie is probably going to need to listen to it a few different times. Kim OX Secret says, "Ugh, I keep thinking about a man I do not know who I keep insanely thinking of me right now."
Mm-hmm.
All right, Kim, I'm going to need you to elaborate a little bit. And feel free to call
I
up.
thought she was commenting on the email, but I was going to say, I mean, either way, yeah, that's crazy.
All right, I keep thinking about it, man. I do not know who I insanely thinking of me right now.
I see what you're saying. Okay, no, I was wrong.
All right, let me get back to the show here. Alfie, John, you said it about the red flags that he missed. And I want to talk a little bit
about the red flags he ran right at.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about why they mattered in order to help him understand them a little bit better so he can avoid making the same mistake in the future. Now, the first one to me was, and John, you probably picked up on one or two before this, but the sudden emotional shift after the trip. Now, like I said, this is the loudest one to me.
Yep.
She was showing him affection before the trip and then distance immediately after. Now,
I mean, the affection before the overcompensating before the trip is bad enough.
Well, it's a pattern, and it almost never comes from needing space. John, you and I have seen this pattern before, and it comes from comparison. So she experienced novelty, attention, or validation elsewhere. And once that door opened, her nervous system couldn't return to baseline with old Alfie.
Yep.
Now, men feel the shift, but talk themselves out of it, and that's a mistake.
Yeah.
Now, what else stuck out to me as a red flag in this whole thing, John, is how she framed the breakup as space and not truth. I need space. I can't continue to grow. I still care about you.
Stop the cap.
All right.
Yeah.
These are all soft exits. And women, all right, they're used when someone wants to keep their self-image intact, avoid being the villain, or like you mentioned, leaving that emotional door unlocked. All right. When the truth is clean, it's clear. When truth is padded, there's usually an overlap. Now, like you were also mentioned, John, the excessive kindness after the breakup. And I could tell this one confused our nephew here, and it confuses a lot of good men.
Well, because it's really easy to say, well, yeah, but we have 3 years history, so of course I've got to say something sweet to him. All right, fine, but there's also another motive.
Here's what I need you nephews to understand. That loving message the next morning, that actually wasn't love. It was guilt management. When someone treats you extra well after sending you things like that, you need to ask yourself, what are they trying to soothe, me or themselves?
She sent you that while he was off getting her a towel.
Real closure doesn't require reassurance. But you know what does, nephews? Guilt. All right. Now, another thing, Johnny, that stuck out to me is let's stay friends immediately.
Yeah.
All right. This is a classic red flag, nephews, dressed as maturity. Friendship after a real relationship requires time and separation. Suggesting it immediately,
or the word
that
no,
often means she wants access without accountability. She wants, like Johnny said, an emotional backup, and she wants to ease the transition to someone else. Now, that is not friendship. That's emotional insurance.
Now, that's not the 2 weeks notice you give before leaving a job. She gave you like a 6 weeks not notice before leaving you.
Red flag number 5.
She was monkey branching.
Red flag number 5, man, nephew. The timeline did not add up for me. But you sure did trust the story, didn't you? She met someone on a trip. She emotionally detached before the breakup.
Mm-hmm.
She lined up future plans quickly. Now, that doesn't happen overnight. You trusted words over behavior sequencing. Now, I get it. Most men do, because they assume honesty where there's affection.
Well, not only that, but there's
sounds
something about the
preposterous.
dopamine rush of hearing what you wish you could hear.
Red flag number, what are we on, 6, Alfie?
Yep.
That shared history, you overvalued that during a crisis. Now, this is subtle, but it's also brutal because you were dealing with a hospitalized parent. So you assume shared hardships equal a deeper bond. But hardship doesn't hardship doesn't bond people who are already halfway out the door. Okay, it exposes who is capable of staying.
Yeah, she would have
didn't
cared a year
lean.
ago. She would have cared a year ago when she was still invested.
Yeah, she didn't lean in, she leaned away. And that's not coincidence, that's capacity. Now, the real lesson here, a core mistake, you didn't miss these red flags because you're blind. You missed them because you believed that love means consistency, but attraction doesn't run on morality. It runs on alignment and polarity. Once she started orienting elsewhere, her kindness became performative and not connective. So here's a rule every man needs to know. When words and timing don't match, believe timing. People reveal truth through sequence, not speeches. All right. And Alfie, you really didn't lose her. You lost an illusion. And nephew, you gained clarity before marriage, kids, or decades were on the line.
Or child support, alimony. So, hey, that's kind of a small victory. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a narrow escape. I mean, it's painful, but it's a narrow escape. John, you got anything else for Alfie? Some words of wisdom for him to carry forward?
For Alfie, yeah, I would say, remember, like Uncle Bill said, if you bottom line her actions and her attitude, that is always going to override what her words say. Her words are meant to calm you down. Her actions are meant to show you her intentions. By the way, for those of you in the chat or those of you in the comments watching this later, give us a time where someone said to you or you said to someone you needed time and space and what that ended up meaning and how that turned out. Again, Alfie's going to be seeing this if he's not already watching live, and he's going to need to know what this typical behavior entails. I mean, we could sit here and give him answers, till we're blue in the face, but I think he's going to need a few real life examples. So if you could be kind enough to share that with us, I'll tell you what, if you share that with us, put your email at the end, or I'll reach out to you and I'll even send you the first 4 weeks of the Johnny Dumbbell Challenge with workouts complete. But yeah, tell our man what he needs to do.
All right, nephews. Tonight, it really wasn't about answers. It was about acceptance.
Yep.
Here's the hardest truths. They're the ones that hurt. They're the ones that end hope. Hope keeps men stuck, but truth sets them free. Some of you learned tonight that she doesn't hate you. She hates the version of herself she was when she had access to you. Some of you learned that space isn't rejection. It's a test of your discipline. And some of you learned the truth in the most brutal way possible. When silence, distance, or a glowing screen told a story, words never could. Now, here's the line, nephew, I'd like you to take with you tonight. When truth pops up, your job isn't to argue with it. Your job is to align with it.
You can fight it or you can understand
it. No more negotiating self-respect, and no more mistaking attachment for love. Men don't heal by being chosen again. They heal by choosing themselves once. Walk away clean, hold your composure, and let time do the talking you no longer need to do. If tonight hit you good, that means you're awake. We'll be back. Same uncles, same truth, no confusion. Thursday night with another episode of Swipe Smarter, where we give you the game on how to be successful at online dating.
That's right.
John, you got anything for him tonight before we wrap this up?
Just one more thing. Between now and Thursday, remember, I'm not telling you not to drink, but I am saying if you do drink, don't drive. And if you do drive, don't park, because accidents cause people. Buonanotte.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate you.
Yeah.